Come on, Jackie. I know it'll cheer you up. Let's go down to the mall and make fun of all the people coming out of the big and tall store.
The 90s show is finally here, but will it live up to its predecessor? What is the show going to be all about with Eric, Donna, and the whole gang all grown up? Here's everything you need to know before you watch it.
I mean, well, I do need a place to live. But you don't want me invading. Well, we do watch the same shows.
First off, the cast is amazing. Of course, we have Callie Haverda playing Leia Foreman, Eric and Donna's daughter, who is the central character of the show. In addition to her, Ashley Alterheide will play the character of the rebellious teen Gwen, and Mace Colonel will play the role of Jay. The fans will also get to see Maxwell A.C. Donovan come back and play the role of Gwen's well-liked elder brother, Nate. Rain Doy will play Ozzy, and Sam Morelos will play Nate's bright girlfriend, Nikki. And for all the people who have followed the original show, you'll be glad to know that some of your favorites are definitely making a comeback. Topher Grace, Laura Pepperin, Mila, Wilmer, and Ashton Kutcher are all scheduled to appear as guests in the next season. But one person is definitely going to be missing. Due to legal claims, Danny Masterson is the only regular cast member from that 70s show who won't be making an appearance in the spinoff. It's also worth noting that Tommy Chong, who portrayed Leo in the original series, is returning for that 90s show. He spoke with Variety about his experience getting back to work. He said, "The minute Kitty knocked on the door and I opened the door and it was her, it could have been yesterday." Now that you know many of the oldies will be back, you might be a little surprised when I tell you that one of the main men will be missing. But why won't Danny come back? Masterson was in every episode of that 70s show, so naturally, it would only make sense for him to make a few appearances in the new show. And as much as that might sadden many of you, what we'll tell you next will most probably balance out that sadness. You will not be part of the show because of this assault claims. After a 3-year inquiry, the Los Angeles Police Department arrested and charged Masterson with the rape of 3 women, the oldest of whom was 28, and the youngest of whom was 23. The earliest alleged rape took place in January of 2001, and the most recent occurred in April of 2003. Masterson's character was erased from a second Netflix show, The Ranch, when the claims surfaced in 2017, and rightfully so, don't you agree? Anyway, his absence on that 90s show will also be notable. Masterson's trial officially began last year in October, and so, obviously, he has bigger things to worry about right now. If he is found guilty, he may spend as long as the rest of his life behind bars in California.
So I told her to get lost, and now she's in tears.
Well, what kind of crying is it? Is it like my life is over kind of crying, or?
Donna's dad, Don Stark, recently told EW that he was the final cast member to return to portray. He said everybody was back on the show except for Danny, given the circumstances. But you don't have to worry, because they're all also adding a lot of old elements to the new show. The amount of Easter eggs in the show will surprise you. Of course, the infamous car is gonna make a comeback. In the opening credits sequence of the original series, the group drives about while lip-syncing in the street in Eric's 1969 Oldsmobile Vista Cruiser, which plays an important role in the program. Not to mention all the serious conversations that Eric and Donna had up on the car's hood. Naturally, it makes an appearance in that 90s show, most notably in a key scene involving Leia and Jay's relationship. And hey, here's an interesting fact. Wilmer Valderrama transported the actual Vista Cruiser from the 1970s set to the set of that 90s show. During the filming of the last scene for episode 6, Haverda and Colonel came upon a sun visor featuring the original cast, and the most avid fans will spot the fact that the jewelry is back as well. Stark returns as Bob Pinciotti, or Grandpa Bob, as Leia calls him, in that 90s show. Plus, he still has his own, flair. While Bob has changed his style for the 90s, channeling a flawlessly retro Miami Vice appearance, one element of his outfit, lavish gold jewelry, has remained unchanged. Also, the red flannel. There are other references to Red's iconic flannel shirts throughout that 90s show, including Gwen's face in the circle, Nate's car, and Red himself. They were an important element of his 1970s clothing, and now serve as a hilarious parody of rehashed 90s style. But hold up, how much of it is there? Well, here are all the deets on the episodes.
Brad, you need to go over there and apologize to Bob. He came in here all excited about his idea, and you just made him feel bad about himself.
Yeah.
Season 1 of that 90s show consists of 10 episodes. Seasons of the original show range from 22 to 27 episodes. So this was a huge reduction, and fans were pretty disheartened, including me. The first episode, that 90s pilot, was broadcast on January 19, 2023. Gail Mancuso helms the project with a teleplay written by Greg Metler. That 90s show has announced that all 10 episodes will be released on the same day.
Think I might be a one-woman guy.
You hear that, Jackie? Fez is a one-woman guy.
Yeah, surprising, but true.
On top of that, a lot has happened in the show, and viewers are naturally eager about what's next. One of the most pressing concerns being, is Donna really Leia's mom? According to various sources, Leia's parents are Eric Foreman and Donna Pinciotti. So this makes sense since they had reunited by the series finale of that 70s show. Author Greg Metler said that if Eric had a daughter, he would have called her Leia, like the character from Star Wars. He said the idea made him so happy that he realized he had something to build the show on. They also originally planned on doing something entirely different with the show. Bonnie and Terry Turner, who created Leia for that 90s show, initially had a different vision for the character. Their first idea was that Eric had attended a music festival, met someone there, and had a kid with them, but they never revealed who the grandchild was. Terry also reported to Variety the appearance of a young woman, about 14 or 15, who introduces himself as the grandson of Red Smith and Kitty Rupp.
Stuff you said to Jackie? So mean and hurtful. I only wish I'd said it myself.
Netflix was hesitant because it thought viewers wouldn't accept Eric's surprise love child well. Luckily, that's where Metler stepped in, and that's how Eric and Donna were able to adopt Leia as their daughter. But hey, with all that said and done, aren't you curious to see how the rest of the show links to the old one? The connection between the two is brilliant. The late 1970s served as the backdrop for Fox's long-running sitcom That 70s Show, which ran for 8 seasons from 1998 to 2006. Similar to the previous show, which focused on teenagers, the new one will follow a close-knit group of 6 pals. This summer, Leia will be visiting her grandparents in New York. There, she meets Gwen, a neighbor of her grandparents, and the de facto head of the Point Place Youth. And if you still feel like you need more details, the showrunners gave the fans a small sneak peek to get them excited. It started in the basement of the Foreman family home, a throwback to the first season of the show. As Donovan and Haverda point out, the sofa and chair originated in the living room in the original series.
You're the best lover I ever had.
The driveway garage area is another significant spot where Mace Carone and Sam Morellos pick up the tour. Next, Ashley Aufderheide shows out her room in the adjoining apartment. The tour then does a complete turnaround and returns to the Foreman home, where it once again begins in the living room. Ozzy, our tour guide, shows us around and explains how the living room is where people's true selves come out. He also draws attention to the original cast images displayed on the wall. And that's everything you should know before you start binging.